This will be a do a couple songs that are related to burning it down.
Yeah!
There was a CNN featured a wonderful picture of a bunch of college students wearing bandanas running in the streets somewhere, and had this article about how the scary anarchists were descending upon Tampa and were intent on burning down the city. Here we come. Yeah. The thing is that what they forgot to mention about the last time anarchists came to burn down the city, that was Chicago, and the only anarchists burning down the city were cops, as far as I know. I mean, the cops actually planted the, you know.
No, it's a provocateurs. It happened.
I'll do a song about that, actually. I was in Chicago for the NATO protest. And they, which once again confirmed my suspicion that, I mean, I don't know, but I've just figured that if the FBI is going to do something to fuck up a social movement, one thing that they could do that would be easy to do and would really mess things up is to infiltrate the sound companies that provide the sound for the protests, because they're so bad that on so many occasions, so much of the time, they are so bad that I don't think there's another plausible explanation. Actually, I have the same theory about somebody. There must be somebody on the staff of Democracy Now! who's trying to fuck things up, because there are community radio shows that make fewer mistakes than they do. A lot of community radio stations. I mean, it's a great show, but in terms of the content, but in terms of the technical stuff, like she's constantly saying, and now we're hearing from so and so who's going to say this, and then it's not there, you know. And I know a lot of local programmers with one DJ and one producer, and they do a much better job. And I think it's not. It's I think there must be somebody infiltrated in that program. That's my guess. I don't know. I think it's a good guess, though. State came to threaten and to boast, to articulate their message and together make a toast to the new schemes they're hatching, to the next regime they'll change, to the next nation they'll turn into a bombing range. They hyped it on the radio, newspapers and TV, the anarchists who'd come and destroy the city. The anarchists who'd come and the undercover cops, the old Chicago Red Squad and their psyops. It's the cops who bought the petrol, the cops who bought the cans, the cops who brought it home, the cops who made the plans. They got the terrorists they wanted, now they're doing fine. They got the terrorists and they got the headlines. I want to know who, I want to know who, I want to know who is the terrorist. I want to know who, I want to know who, I want to know who is the terrorist. Meanwhile in Afghanistan, another family is dead, wiped out in their sleep as they were lying in their bed, wiped out of existence like so many are each day. This is liberation, so they say. This is liberation, and in case you are unsure, the NSA will tell you if your thoughts might be impure, while the Air Force flies their generals all the way across the ocean. They'll build military bases, drop bombs of all description, but if you drive from Florida to the city of Chicago to pay a little message to Mayor Rombo, watch out for the cops who bring home the gasoline and your apartment becomes a crime scene. I want to know who, I want to know who, I want to know who is the terrorist. I want to know who, I want to know who, I want to know who is the terrorist. Meanwhile in Afghanistan, another village has been hit. A wedding party transformed into a pit, transformed into a graveyard for children, women, men, transformed into a graveyard for empire again, a place where terrorists are born. With every drone attack, a graveyard for the Midwest boys never coming back, a graveyard for society, a graveyard for ideals, a place to go of anyone who feels. And at the meeting in Chicago, they'll talk of women's rights. They'll talk about the terrorists they've got within their sights. The terrorists abroad. The terrorists so near. The terrorists who grew up in a suburb around here. I want to know who. I want to know who. I want to know who. Who is the terrorist? I want to know who. I want to know who. I want to know who. Who is the terrorist? Meanwhile in Afghanistan, another protester shot down by NATO troops who had to prove it's them who run this town. By NATO troops who had to show they are in control, while it all comes crashing down in the countries they stole. NATO troops committing war crimes every day, ruling over nations in the old imperial way. The lying generals in Chicago with their satellites and tanks, taking orders from their bosses. The oil men and banks taking orders from their bosses, looking suitably enraged at terror, foreign and domestic, real or staged, whether led on by informants or just pissed off by the war. The terrorists are meeting behind closed doors. I want to know who. I want to know who. I want to know who. Who is the terrorist? I want to know who. I want to know who. I want to know who. Who is the terrorist? I want to know who. I want to know who. I want to know who. Who is the terrorist?